Hey there all you gals and gents, this is Axolotl Aristotle here today to talk about the new indie FPS game, Graven. Developed by Slipgate Ironworks and published by 1C Entertainment in 3D Realms, Graven was just released into early access. Before I get into the nitty-gritty details of this review, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like and subscribe. Doing so will keep the magical game reviews coming. I'd like to get this out of the way now. This won't be like any of my other previous review videos, because I think that both the Graven EA and 1C Entertainment have some issues that I just need to address. I enjoyed Graven, and it has a lot of good things going for it. The setting is absolutely phenomenal. The gross, decaying, retro-inspired look is actually made on modern graphic software, and it's only complemented by the superb voice acting. But then again, everything Stephen Waite does is superb. The man is literally God, after all. I love the different weapons and skills you have, as well as the puzzle-solving aspect of the game. I honestly thought the game was glitched when I was at a certain totem pole problem, but when I realized I was the problem and figured it out, I felt really clever. However, in the state that the game is currently in, I can't recommend buying it at the time. There just isn't enough to warrant the $25 price tag. Right now, the game includes the demo areas, as well as one additional area to explore. It took me about 2 hours to get through the entire experience. If you're making the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour, or even $12 to $13 an hour, you might actually invest more time and resources than you get out of this game. It's a really weird problem that 1C Entertainment has where some of the games they release into EA just have nothing to do in them, and it just sours the opinions of the community and makes us feel cheated. The hype for Graven is real. We want the game. That also means we want the game when it's running properly and has enough content to enjoy. So, in addition to not having a lot to do, what are some of the other problems the game has? Thankfully, the list I was going to share with you just got shorter thanks to an announcement less than 24 hours after the release of the EA, where they intend to fix some of the issues the game has, like the blacksmith being really useless, a definitive end to the EA, instead of just some cryptic chatter from the boatmen that left myself and many other players roaming the map looking for something, looking where to go next, thinking we were the problem. In addition, finally allowing the spell that literally shoots flames to deal damage to enemies. And then no more stun locking the enemies and just insta-winning. As you'll see from most of the footage I'm going to show you, when you touch an enemy, they become stun locked and unable to do anything. But that doesn't fix all the problems the game currently has. For example, the enemy AI is extremely poor in addition to the stun locking. All I have to do is circle strafe around enemies and they can't target me. Instead, they spend the entirety of the remainder of their lives just trying to turn around to catch up with me. Once you realize this, combat becomes really droll. Especially considering that the majority of the EA enemies are melee units. And it's a shame too, because the enemy designs themselves, at least aesthetically, are badass. I hate seeing these intimidating, armored, mace-wielding skeletons just look at me like idiots as I ever so slightly walk in a circle around them. My next complaint is also a compliment of sorts. Unlike the studio's other games like Wrath, Aeons of Ruin, and Viscera Fest, Graven has checkpoints to save at instead of requiring you to use a scarce number of items. I mentioned Viscera Fest here specifically because, like Graven, it's also an EA, and just released last weekend. Except, unlike Graven, Viscera Fest feels fully polished and well worth the investment of both your time and money. I actually just posted a review video of Viscera Fest. I should have a link popping up now if you want to check it out. But the problem I have with this new system that Graven introduces is that you can't fast travel to any of these respawn areas. Instead, you have to backtrack across the entire map. This isn't really that big of an issue right now, but if and when Graven gets more and more areas to uncover, the worse of a problem this will become. Also, let's not pull punches here. The difficulty of the game is non-existent. I died a total of 1 time because I was standing too close to an exploding barrel near wreckage I had to clear. But when I respawned, all my progress was still done, and none of the enemies respawned either. It just felt way too easy, and looking at the options, I found no way to up the difficulty. Finally, I recommend finishing the demo in one go. If you don't, you just have to deal with multiple little annoyances that just add up to ruin the whole experience. Once you load back into the game, all of your keybinds on your table bar have been changed and reset, so you have to manually go into your inventory and reset them yourself. You're also teleported back to the game's starting docks area, and you have to go all the way back to wherever it was that you last were. Thankfully, it isn't terribly boring because all the enemies have respawned, but yet that means you technically have to redo all the progress you made. That's why I think it should be changed so you just spawn in at the last checkpoint you had, and the ability to fast travel between them. The last issue I had comes with some ladders being janky, but other than that I didn't really encounter any bugs, which is great. All in all, I did enjoy Graven, but I still can't recommend it right now. That doesn't mean you should walk away from the game and forget that it ever existed. It has a lot of potential. I mean, look at how far Wrath has come since its initial EA release. It's just about to cross the finish line, and I'm so excited to delve back into its decrepit world filled with fleshy guns and murder nuns. Okay, well, there aren't any actual nun or priest enemies in their amazing chapel level, and it really disappointed me. The point is, we know that we can trust the studio and developers to give us a quality game. It'll just take time. To that end, I think we should just keep an eye on this game and invest in it when it becomes a fuller experience. I really hope that 1C finally learns their lesson about pushing games into early access too early when it lacks any content. It only hurts them and turns people off from a game that will be amazing and that they would love otherwise. The hype won't die 1C, I promise. Just take some deep breaths and work through it slowly but surely. Trust me when I say this. Your fans are just as excited as you are to cross the finish line to release day. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I also encourage you to comment below if you have any questions or wanted to point out something I missed. If you want to support this channel even more, I have a Patreon with numerous tiers and rewards, such as having your name at the end of my videos. Making review content like this is a blast, and I can do it on a much more consistent basis with your help.